My name's Andrew Aronowicz and I'm a composer, a teacher and a writer and I guess a general classical music enthusiast. I was introduced to classical music fairly early on by my father. I think he was fairly instrumental in that. He is not a musician at all, neither is my mother, but I was taken to an opera. I was taken to the Barber of Seville, which is fairly long. It's 3 hours and that's a long for, I was 10 or 11. It's a long time for a 10 or 11-year-old, but I found it really fascinating. And I think what I liked about it was that it was different. Opera was sort of what got me in, but incidentally I don't listen to as much opera anymore, but that's sort of where I got in. And then as I was playing more violin music, there was more violin music, concertos, orchestral music, chamber music. And yes, and I guess my love blossomed from there. It is a piece of music that I intensely love. I mean, look, there are lots of pieces like that. This is the Pergolesi Stabat Mater, which I think is one of the most emotional pieces of music. It's there on the stand at the moment. I listen to it and I mean, I'm overcome by how brilliantly it's been put together on a technical level, but also I'm overcome by just how stunningly beautiful it is. The Stabat Mater is about the weeping mother. And so I suppose the biblical text or the story surrounding the piece of music and the text that the two singers, the soprano and mezzo or countertenor sometimes have to sing, is centered around sadness and the most profound sadness. And the way the melodic line works, this sort of starting like this on this sort of note and then the next voice coming in to create this sort of crush and then it resolving, but then more tension coming and it climbing and it reaching this beautiful part in the music, which just one of those, it's sort of one of those musical moments which it's orgasmic. It's this unique way of making music that is building to a climax that just feels so... Words escape me. Which they don't often do. And I suppose that's perhaps why it's so wonderful. Yeah, that I can't explain it. There is Handel's Messiah, there is the St. Matthew's Passion on top of that, there's the Bartók Concerto for Orchestra, there are lots of pieces of music. There's the Bartók string quartets in the cupboard over there, and looking at those pieces of music and hearing music that feels so modern. And as a composer, I mean, you have to have ears that are drawn towards what's current and what's new, and it's amazing that Bartók was composing this music, you know, in the first half of the 20th century, and yet it feels like it could be genuinely composed today, that it is so interesting and thought-provoking. And yes, I think it's important to surround yourself with musical reminders like that, that there's been a lot of great stuff that's happened. You can't be snobbish about it, because ultimately, I mean, in my opinion, music is for all, and everybody has the ability to access the music, no matter what it is, when it was written, or in what context. And I think it should be like that. Yeah.